All right, let's jump right into it. Are modern women using men? Well, today's dating world comes with a set of unspoken rules, and sometimes it feels like those rules aren't always fair. Men are often expected to cover the costs, plan the dates, and make the first moves. However, with equality being the goal, is this reasonable? Or are we looking at a setup that's a little too one-sided? From picking up the dinner tab to showering their dates with gifts, men often put in more, financially and emotionally, while women enjoy the benefits. So, are these old school time-tested traditions? Or is it time to call out some double standards? Are men being used, or is this simply part of modern dating dynamics? If you're new to my channel, my name is Anna Jorgensen. I help good men like you decode women so you can find, attract, and keep your keeper, or simply have better relationships with women. Welcome to Just the Tip. Now, by the way, stay tuned to the end to learn about my new one-on-one coaching offer. So let's dig into this and expose the realities of these double standards. No filters. Disclaimer, some of this might be tough to hear, but you want real talk, the brutal truth, not a sugar-coated version. So let's do this. 1. The financial burden. Why are men still expected to pay? Well, let's start with one of the most apparent double standards, money. It's not the 1950s, yet somehow it's still expected for the man to foot the bill on dates, at least in most countries. Even in this era of equality, you'll rarely hear a woman say, "Hey, I got this." Why? Because deep down, some women still expect men to handle the financial responsibilities, even though they might be pushing for equality in other areas or even making more money than him. Think about it. You're going on dates, maybe taking her to a nice restaurant, paying for drinks, paying for gas, and at some point it feels less like you're trying to win her heart and more like you're being auditioned for a job you didn't apply for, but having to pay for. These modern day dating scenarios are often set up so men provide the service while women enjoy the experience. Let's call it for what it is, a system where men are being used. If modern women want equal footing in all areas of life, why does this outdated expectation still hang over men's heads? Some of you older men may be thinking, well, I don't mind paying, it's traditional, and that's cool and all, but ask yourself this, is it fair that men are still carrying the financial burden in an age where women want 50-50 equality in everything else? The scales are tipped not in your favor. Solution: find out early if she considers herself a modern feminist. If she claims to support equality or tradition, don't be afraid to ask her how she feels about splitting the check in advance. That's a great test to discover her true values. If she claims to be a feminist and a-okay with splitting the check, set expectations early by suggesting a balance, like taking turns covering costs or choosing low-cost dates. If a feminist woman isn't open to sharing the responsibility, consider if this aligns with the relationship you are looking for. Question for the fellas. If you are traditional and do want to pick up the tab, what expectations do you have for the woman who gets to enjoy your generosity? Comment so any ladies watching this can learn what men want. Question for the ladies. Polls at U.S. universities where there are a higher percentage of feminists show that 87% of female students disqualify a man if he doesn't pick up the tab. Are you one of them? Do you consider yourself a feminist? Are you sure? Share your thoughts. Okay, number 2, another double standard is emotional labor. The narrative is men must always be strong, stoic, emotionally stable, while women are given more freedom to express their feelings and emotions. If a guy opens up too much, he's seen as weak or too sensitive. Meanwhile, women can cry, vent, rage, and demand emotional support, and it's seen as perfectly normal or hormonal. To learn more on how to master masculine vulnerability, you will like my video on that topic, and we will put the video there and link it at the end. This dynamic leaves men in a position where they're constantly often giving emotional support, but rarely receiving it in return. Men are expected to be the strong, silent types, always solving problems and never asking for help. And let's be real for a moment. How many times have you been told to man up when you're going through something that's difficult? How many of you feel like you're just a silent therapist in your relationship, giving more than you get? To learn more about why she leaves a man at rock bottom, watch my video on that, and we'll put that video here and at the end or in a linked comment. Okay, solution. To balance the emotional dynamics, start by setting boundaries around emotional support. Express your feelings openly and encourage your lady to reciprocate, creating space where both of you can share and support each other equally. Watching my vulnerability video will help you. Note to the fellas, no matter what modern feminism says, there are some things that are simply subject to biology. There is a difference between weak and strong vulnerability. Weak vulnerability triggers mother mode in women, which suppresses lover mode in women. Again, to learn the difference between weak and strong vulnerability, watch the 2 videos previously noted, and again, we'll put a link for them either at the end or in the pinned comment or in the video description. All right, note to the ladies, if you want a man to share his deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings with you, do not punish him for it. Even if he delves into weak vulnerability, trust he won't get stuck there. Use this as an opportunity to express your feminine, nurturing side. Remind yourself that where he is at is temporary and your lack of sexual attraction to him will be temporary too. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, question for men and women. What examples of vulnerability do you like and dislike in the opposite sex? Let me know in the comments. I love reading your comments. I try to read them all. Okay, 3, you should chase me mentality. The idea that men should always make the first move and chase women is another outdated but thriving double standard. In today's dating world, men are expected to initiate everything from approaching a woman to asking her out to planning the date and even to defining the relationship. And women just sit back and enjoy the show, deciding if they will let you win them over. However, here's the kicker. When a man wants something serious, he's seen as desperate or clingy. Whereas if a woman is the one pushing for commitment, she just knows what she wants. The goalposts are constantly moving, depending on who's holding the ball. Naughty. Okay, modern dating is rife with this passive-aggressive approach where men are told to earn a woman's love and affection, while women have all the power to reject or accept as they please. Is this fair? Of course not. Solution. Challenge this outdated dynamic by encouraging shared initiation and planning your dating life. Next time, suggest both of you take turns planning dates or defining the direction of the relationship. This invites equal effort and shows you're looking for a balanced relationship where both of you actively invest in each other. I know this is very mature. Note for the fellas, whether it's nature or nurture, women's physiology doesn't handle stress as well as men's. Biology doesn't care about dogma, culture, or equality. It just is. So here's the deal. If she's clocking the same hours as you at work, piling on extra responsibilities will stress her out more than it would you. Why does this matter to you? Because when she's stressed, her body flips into fight, flight, or freeze mode, aka no sex for you mode. Translation, you might need to take charge of some extra planning so she can relax and, let's be honest, be more likely to get in the mood for you. Note for the ladies, men's physiology is wired differently from yours. It takes a lot more stress for a guy to lose interest in sex. In fact, unless there's a category 5 emergency, sex actually reduces stress for men and makes them more inclined to meet your needs. But here's the kicker, key point. This only works when the sex is fueled by love, not resentment or manipulation. Question for men and women. What puts you in the mood for making love? Comment. Okay, 4. The weaponization of sex. Are men being manipulated? Well, duh. Okay. Does a bear poop in the forest? Yes, it does. Let's not dance around this one. Sex in dating has become a currency, or maybe always has been. Some women use it as a bargaining chip, withholding or giving it up based on what they can get out of the relationship. Men, on the other hand, are often left in this position where they feel like they need to perform, provide, or do something to earn physical intimacy. Not fair. In many cases, women dictate when, how, and if sex will happen, using it as leverage to control the dynamic of the relationship. If a man refuses to play along or asks for what he wants in return, suddenly he's labeled as pushy or inappropriate or worse. Is this equal? No. In fact, it's a manipulative double standard that makes men feel like they're pawns in a game they didn't agree to play. Solution: to counter this dynamic, prioritize open communication around physical intimacy and establish boundaries together from the start. It's a crazy idea, but it's a foundation where both of you will feel comfortable expressing your needs and desires without judgment, creating a balanced relationship where all kinds of intimacy is mutual, respectful, and free from manipulation. In other words, healthy. Yes, this is a tricky one for men because any mention of physical intimacy early on often triggers women to think he only wants sex. Approach the topic in a way that emphasizes mutual respect and emotional connection rather than physical gratification. Okay, you want an example for this one, I know it. You're going to frame the conversation around values such as building trust and understanding each other's comfort levels. By the second or third date, you know there's some kind of mutual connection and attraction. So when there's an appropriate conversation opening, you could say something like, I value getting to know someone deeply and building a connection where we can both feel comfortable being ourselves before getting too physical. What's your take on how intimacy fits into a healthy relationship? Interesting. So this opens the door to discussing boundaries without making it sound like you're just angling for sex with her. It also shows you're mindful of her comfort while subtly signaling that intimacy is a shared decision, not a transaction. So note to the fellas, even if you've nailed every move so far, bringing up sex before she's ready is like walking a tightrope blindfolded. You won't always know when the right time is. Women can be unpredictable about this stuff, and yes, sometimes you will misstep and crash. It's part of the game. I'm sorry. Accept the risk, own it, and don't let it rattle your confidence. There are no certainties. Note to the ladies, if you want to know if a man's on the same page as you about physical intimacy, you've got to be willing to talk about it. And remember, most men don't come with the same sexual hang-ups that women do. That doesn't make them bad, it makes them men. If you're looking for someone who thinks exactly like you, then date a woman. Otherwise, lean into the differences. They're what make men unique and awesome. Number 5. Oh boy, the dating apps dilemma. Okay, women have more control and men are commodities. Yee. Okay, and of course, we can't ignore the continued rise of dating apps. With just a swipe, women have an overwhelming amount of options and men are left trying to stand out in a sea of competition. Studies show women on dating apps receive way more attention than men. In this dynamic, women can pick and choose, often treating men like disposable options rather than real people with feelings. Meanwhile, men are left swiping endlessly, hoping for a match that might actually turn into something real. Again, where's the balance in all of this? Well, it's not equal, of course. It's operating as exploitation disguised as choice. Solution: to navigate dating apps more effectively, focus on quality over quantity by carefully selecting profiles that align with your values and interests and personalizing your messages to stand out authentically. This is where a personal coach can help you. More on that in a minute. Additionally, consider diversifying your approach by engaging in real-life social activities or interest-based groups where interactions are more genuine and mutual, creating more balanced and meaningful connections. So go out in the real world and do stuff amongst real persons. people. Out in the real world, amongst people. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you don't have a coach and do want to shop online, get my online dating course. It has the basics, which many of you are still in need of, and it's only $10 US, one-time fee. Note to the fellas, if you're serious about online dating, you're going to have to pay to play. You'll be able to set up more stringent filters based on a woman's character and values, so only the ones who match your values show up. If you lie about your height, most men under 6 feet tall do not get filtered out. Put your true height in your bio somewhere with something funny like, I identify as 6 feet tall, wink. Only post photos that are an accurate representation of what you look like today, not 10 years ago with a full head of hair. Note to the ladies, pay to play. You'll get more serious matches who actually want to find Mrs. Right, not the ones looking for Mrs. Right now. Unless you are a kind, loving, nurturing, non-feminist girl next door supermodel, relax your height and career requirements a bit. Only post photos that are an accurate representation of what you look like today, not 10 pounds and a full face of filters ago. 6, the entitlement to men's time and energy. Here's another aspect you might have noticed. Women expect men to prioritize them at all times. Modern dating often comes with the expectation that men should drop everything to accommodate a woman's every need, whether it's to reply to texts instantly or being available at her convenience or adjusting your schedule to fit hers. If you don't respond fast enough, you're emotionally unavailable or not serious. But when she's too busy to reply or she cancels plans at the last minute, it's because she's got a lot going on. Again, there is a clear imbalance. Your time and energy is seen as more flexible than hers, which shows the playing field is far from actually being equal. Solution. Again, set clear boundaries around your time and availability to address this imbalance. Politely let her know you value mutual respect in scheduling and communication, and you prioritize each other's time equally. Note to men and women, treat others the way you want to be treated. If the way you'd like to be treated doesn't match hers, maybe you're not a good fit. 7, social media validation. Men as props for likes. Okay, now let's talk about the influence of toxic social media. Women increasingly use platforms like Instagram and TikTok to showcase their relationships, but men often become nothing more than props in their quest for likes, comments, and validation. Have you ever noticed how she's quick to post cute couple photos, but slower to commit in real life? It's like men are accessories in her highlight reel, curated to show off her perfect life to her followers. But behind the scenes, the emotional investment often isn't as deep as the photo captions make it, or you're not even in the photos. Solution. To counter this, have again an open conversation about how you want to approach sharing your relationship on social media. Express that while you're supportive of each other's online presence, you'd like your connection to be genuine and meaningful offline, prioritizing real life experience and commitments over constantly curated online appearances. Note to the fellas, her social media can reveal red flags, and you're best to avoid those who are obviously attention hoes, only looking for external validation. Don't let her looks or sex appeal hijack your common sense. Use this head. Note to the ladies, put yourself in your man's manly shoes. Unless he gets off on other men getting off on you, try to develop some internal validation. It's far more fulfilling to fill your own bucket than to be fake to get fake approval. Number 8, the friend zone game, emotional support without commitment. Oh, the friend zone. Well, we all know about the friend zone. Women often expect emotional support from men when they've made it absolutely clear they're not interested in any kind of romance with him. This is the modern friend zone trap. Guys are used as emotional tampons without getting anything back in terms of romantic interest or an intimate connection. You're there for her when she needs to vent about her problems, maybe even other men. But when you show interest in something more, suddenly you're too good of a friend to date. It's an emotional transaction where the guy's feelings are the currency, but the return on investment, non-existent. If this is you, you will find my video on how to get out of the friend zone helpful. We'll put it somewhere after this one. Solution: to avoid getting trapped in the friend zone, be upfront about your romantic feelings early on and clarify you're seeking a relationship rather than just a friendship. If she isn't interested in taking it further, set boundaries on how much emotional support you're willing to provide and stick to that boundary. This will allow you to protect your feelings and focus on finding someone who does value you as more than just a friend. Note to the fellas, never wait for a woman. Never, never, never wait for a woman. Note to the ladies, there's no such thing as only friends unless he's gay and probably a bottom. Don't unintentionally string a man along thinking otherwise or as your last resort backup boy. Know better, do better. Number 9, the strong independent woman card. Until it's inconvenient. All right, now let's talk about independent women. These days, women want to be seen as independent, not needing a man, and able to do everything independently until they expect you to handle the hard stuff like paying for expensive dates or fixing her car or the fence or whatever. The message is clear. Men are there to step in when it suits women, but are otherwise disposable. This pick and choose approach to independence creates a massive imbalance in relationships. Genuine autonomy means taking on equal responsibilities, not cherry picking when to be a boss babe and when to let the men handle it. Solution: foster a fair relationship and encourage discussions about independence and shared responsibilities in the relationship. Establish a balance where both of you contribute to financial, emotional, and practical tasks, determining what roles you both feel comfortable with and ensuring neither of you is solely relied on. This promotes a more healthy dynamic. Note to the fellas, society has indoctrinated women to think they must live in a masculine energy at all times. Biology doesn't care about this dogma. Most women want to relax into vulnerable femininity with you. In order to do so, they need to feel safe physically and emotionally. Note to the ladies, you can be an independent boss babe in the boardroom while relaxing into your feminine at home, if that's what you prefer. It's okay to be feminine. Find the right man and you will feel safer doing so. Trust yourself. Okay, so are modern women using men? Well, the signs indeed point to some yeses. From financial expectations to emotional labor, from initiating relationships to the way sex is weaponized, these are glaring double standards in the modern dating world. And I'm not saying every woman out there takes advantage, but some trends are hard to ignore. Men are still expected to be the providers, even though women earn more than them in many cases. They're expected to be emotional rocks, the initiator of a game that's increasingly skewed in favor of women. The truth is, if modern dating is going to be truly equal in a way that works for both men and women, these double standards need to be exposed and addressed. Men deserve relationships that are balanced and fair, not ones where they're just used as stepping stones to someone else's happiness. Fellas, it's time to wake up. Don't get played in this dating game. Demand the same equality that's being preached. If she's not bringing the same energy and investment to the table, then maybe it's time to reevaluate who's really benefiting from this arrangement. Ladies, there are increasingly more men walking away from dating. With reduced competition for the rest, especially the ones you want, there aren't enough men to go around. If you want one, heed the information in this video and start seeing the value in the good men who are available, but who may not meet your current unrealistic standards. Stay sharp, stay aware, and stop falling for the double standards. So, have you experienced double standards in your dating life? Drop your stories in the comments below. Let's get real about what's really going on out there. If you're a man who is ready to stop wasting time on women who live by their double standards and finally meet the kind of woman who deeply respects you, my coaching program is exactly what you need. You'll learn to master online dating, flirting, having true confidence with women, and meeting them in real life, as well as finding your keeper. Or just hooking up if that's what you prefer. Spots are limited, so click the link or the QR code to book a free discovery call today. And let's get you the results you truly want. Thanks for being here. Lots of love. God bless.